Hi everyone, it's an honor to be here and thank you very much all of you for being here. I know it's been a very long day. It's day 3 of Taiwan Blockchain Week, one of the best events I've ever attended. So thank you very much all. I think before we start, I think a good way will be for all of us to introduce ourselves a little bit. So maybe for myself, I'm coming from Immutable, one of the largest Web3 ecosystems for gaming out there. We really love games like Space Nation, one of our flagship games on Immutable. And I think our mission really is to onboard the next wave of Web2 users into Web3 with the products and the games that we have. So maybe heading over to Chin, maybe you can tell us a little bit more of WeGG, what you guys are doing there.
Hey everyone, good to be here. My name's Chin, I'm the CEO and co-founder of WeGG. So we're building a decentralized gaming protocol that rewards and empowers users for contributing towards gaming ecosystems. So if you're playing the game, you're engaging with a game, you're supporting a game, then you get rewarded with blockchain-based rewards and also digital ownership. So we're really about the community. We're also a distribution and community growth platform for Southeast Asia. So any games that want to enter Southeast Asia, they normally come to us to look for help on the community growth side.
And sorry, just adding a little bit to that, WeGG is the biggest community in Southeast Asia for all games. So previously, Chen and I met in Indonesia Blockchain Week just a few weeks ago. And they have a lot of players, a lot of users. I highly recommend any game out there interested in penetrating this market to look for Chin. It's going to be really helpful for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
All right, everyone, my name is Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO for Ambrus Studio. So been in the gaming industry for a very long time, was formerly the Asia CEO for Riot Games, so League of Legends. And then now developing my Web 2.5 game that focuses on players who play for fun, but leverage blockchain and Web3 elements to enhance player experience and use them for marketing and virality purposes. So not a play to earn, unlike a lot of other Web3 games, but still leveraging Web3, using the way we think is scalable.
And yeah, so just adding a bit to that. So I think very interestingly, you guys must check out his game for sure, building on Sui as well. A very, very cool blockchain. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I think all games are exciting, right? I think that's the basis fundamental of what makes it fun. It's really like the engagement and how it's being built up. So we cannot ignore, well, the blockchain part of it is important, but the fundamentals of it being fun, having good gameplay loops, having good user experience is always very important. And I think Johnson comes from a pedigree of gaming that we rarely see in Web3. So definitely please check out his game.
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Andy Chou. I head up corporate and business development for YGG. So we're a Web3 guild protocol focused on connecting gamers, guilds, and connecting them to games. And actually other opportunities within Web3. I can talk about that a little bit more later. Before YGG, I was doing M&A at eBay, and before that, I was an investment banker in San Francisco. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't know YGG, right? I mean, at the end of the day, YGG was one of the companies that started the whole GameFi bull cycle back in 2021. So hopefully you'll be able to share with us some advice on how we can restart that, how we can get GameFi back to where it's supposed to be. So yeah,
my best.
Very good conversation that we will have today. I think moving next to the next question is going to be something more fun. It's not going to be so technical. My question to all of you is, what is the game from your childhood that inspired you to come into gaming? Because I think gaming is very different from a lot of other verticals within Web3. A lot of it comes from passion. If you are looking for money, gaming is not exactly the place you want to be, right? You want to be in DeFi, you want to be in the RWA, you want to be in meme coin trading. The fact that you're still in gaming or in a gaming vertical means that you do have a strong passion and desire to see your visions and your childhood memories come to life. So maybe starting with Andy, what is your favorite childhood game and why?
I don't know if this is childhood. I mean, I still play games, and I'm a grown adult. So Minecraft. And I think I got really, really into this during sort of the pandemic and lockdowns and quarantines, and it was just it's just really cool to kind of go back to childhood doing digital Legos, really, like building all these different devices and towns and buildings. And I think because of that, it was really intuitive for me when it came time for like Web3 gaming. The idea of owning your own digital assets, scarcity of items, all the work that I put in there, all the hours I've wasted is stuck in there now, right? So I would say that, yeah, I'm very excited for Web3 gaming because of that experience.
Very, very cool. And Johnson, could you share with us?
All right, sounds a little bit old school, but for me, it's StarCraft 1. I was Taiwan's #2 in the first national StarCraft tournament. 5,000 people, 1998, the year I graduated from high school. So I played games since I was very little, but I never thought about being a pro until that time. I'm like, holy shit, I have a chance to become a pro esport player. I actually tried a little bit. I was, besides StarCraft, I was MSN Gaming Zone #1 for Age of Empires, and I was also on the national team for Magic the Gathering back then. But, you know, as university started, I gave up, but I realized that this is my passion, and this is the first time I have this urge that, you know, working in a gaming company will be really cool. So when I got the call from Riot to run esports for them in China, I'm like, this is it. I can finally mix my passion and my career together.
I think that's really exciting. You look like a Zerg player, is that correct?
I was actually a Protoss main, but then I won that tournament by playing Zerg main.
Ah, okay, very fantastic. If you guys have not played StarCraft, please check it out. It's very fun. A lot of microing management skills required to play StarCraft well. Is any of your videos on YouTube? Can I go and watch some of your highlights?
Oh, it was way back before there was even YouTube.
Okay, all right. And Chin, could you share with us?
You know what I love is that every gamer is different and they love different games, and everyone has a different childhood memory when it comes to video games. So when I hear like Andy and then Johnson talk about the different game experiences, you know, for me it's like I was expecting, oh, maybe there's something similar that we have, but no, like for me actually it's the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. You know, a groundbreaking game that I played when I was a child, and the world that you explore, the music, everything was just so immersive, and you cannot, like, it's so nostalgic even till this day. And I think like the Zelda franchise has become stronger and stronger every single year, and that really made me fall in love with video games. So the fact that you can explore something and be taken out of your, you know, reality and into like a virtual world, and that's what we all love, basically, right?
Yeah, man, Zelda's a great title. I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think, changed a lot of games. I think that was one of the games that inspired Genshin, as well as a lot of those open world MMORPGs. So yeah, I think it's a great choice. I love breaking urns, playing Zelda. You know, I think it's always very nostalgic, and I love the kind of art and how people always confuse the main character's name to be Zelda. It's actually Link, right? So yeah. That's quite funny. For me, I would like to just share a little bit. My favorite game is World of Warcraft. I've been playing it for many years, since I was a very young man. And I sunk in many hours into that game because it was really fun. The kind of community you build, there's horde, there's alliance, you feel like a sense of belonging. You feel like these guys are your families, us against the world. And I think the lore and the content was one of the driving forces that kept the people around. And the in-game economies were so strong that people were actually buying characters, buying gold externally to play the game. And I think that really made me wonder, like, okay, I wanted to get involved. And I got into a lot of scams, right? I tried to sell my character, I tried to buy characters, and I got scammed many times. And when I saw blockchain could possibly solve a lot of these problems, I thought, okay, maybe this is something that I would be interested in. And I think that's when I kind of really started going into it. So I think MMORPGs are very fun, but unfortunately these days it takes too much time, so can't really play it as much as I want to. Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing.
I also want to add, actually, I met someone, I think, during Indonesia Game Festival last week, and they told me about how World of Warcraft was actually banned in China, right? I think for like 2 years or so, and then they lost all the characters and everything, and I think that was an eye-opener for the Chinese gamers. They're like, wait a minute, I can't sell my assets. They're actually the blockchain would allow you to do so. So I think that was something interesting which is related to World of Warcraft, which I wanted to share.
Yeah, it's because the publisher and the developer felt, the deal didn't happen, right? And then, but it's the players who lost, which is really tragic.
And I think we should all not forget the reason why Vitalik created Ethereum in the first place was because his World of Warcraft character got banned. And he was very upset about that. He was like a raging nerd back then. He was like, why is my character banned? I'm so upset. I want to create something decentralized so that authorities can't have the control to take away the things that I love. And so gaming actually started a whole revolution. And I hope that it will continue. And I think that with the progresses that we've seen in Web3 in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the gameplay quality, and in terms of everything that we are actually doing for this industry, I'm very hopeful. Okay, maybe moving on to something a little bit more like technical, I would like to ask, maybe starting from Chin, what is the strategy for WeGG? How did you guys become so big in Southeast Asia, and how do you intend to continue growing?
I think we started off as a guild, right? So in the height of 2021, 2022, when play to earn was all the talk, we built up a solid guild in Southeast Asia that basically operated in Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Malaysia. And we had communities there playing games for us, and we invested in over 63 different games, NFT assets, tokens, and basically were able to showcase and deploy about 15 games during the bull cycle, and then people were playing games. And we at our peak had about 50,000 gamers playing for us. And we were able to then distribute about $1 million of in-game token rewards to all these community members. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I'll tell you, the good thing is that we were able to bring on a lot of players. The bad thing is that play to earn in itself created a bad sort of behavior in terms of players seeking financial reward rather than playing a game because they loved it. So that was what started it. So we were able to get deep into these communities, even like the really obscure places in the countryside. We had gamers there, and we lent them assets, and they were able to earn. And I think I think that really resonated with a lot of people. And being able to put food on your table was a huge thing, right? During COVID and everything, and especially when these communities, they're earning less than $200 a month. If you can at least give them $50 or $20, $100 in terms of gaming tokens that they can earn from, then it's life-changing for them. Yeah. And I mean, for now, we kind of shifted away from that. We've learned from that, and we've kind of seen that, in order to improve and grow the communities, you need to really go deep into each of these countries and understand which type of game people like. And I think these days, everyone, you mentioned a good point, no one has time to play hours and hours of games anymore. So your time is split, right? So these days it's you have to focus on whatever you like, right? So certain genres resonate with different gamers more. So we go down into finding the genres that people want to play, and then basically onboard them through that mechanism. And then we also reward them, obviously. We do in real life events, we do offline events, we host various different game days across Southeast Asia. We did Indonesia Game Festival last week, we did CoinFest Bali, we did Southeast Asia Blockchain Week in Thailand. So we're really putting ourselves out there, showcasing the games, and we want to be top of mind when it comes to gaming Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I think optimizing the genre for the demographic is very important, because I think in terms of demographics in Southeast Asia, or talk about Europe or US, everybody has a different flavor, everybody enjoys different types of games. And I think one interesting thing is, we used to play all these games like StarCraft, like Minecraft, and even Zelda and World of Warcraft. We play all these games not because we were seeking something more. We just really played the game because it was fun. When I hang out with our friends and when they just have a good time. I do agree that play to earn back then was a very good revolutionary model in terms of helping those that are earning very low income, helping people to make sense of Web3, and kind of like giving them a little bit more reasons to come into this industry. By the end of the day, I think the most sustainable model is still games that are played for fun. I think moving and using that as a topic, moving on to Johnson, I think very interesting because on this panel here, only you created games from scratch. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more, what is the mission of Ambrus Studios? Why did you create this studio in the first place?
Sure. Slightly long story, but this is what I wanted to do with League of Legends. I was actually the product visionary behind Wild Rift, which is League of Legends Mobile. My vision back then is to create a shorter and faster version that everyone can easily get into, because League was a bit too difficult for people, especially after like 8 years. Unfortunately, that vision, after a year and a half after the project got started, we got initial critical mass, and then the producer came in and reversed it. So I lost my project essentially. But I've thought about it for the longest time on how to do it. So when I realized that Web3 is revolutionary in 2021, I'm like, I'm going to do it. No one wants to touch MOBA. MOBA is a very hard genre. It's not for small studios. But I found, as you said, a very niche segment within the gaming industry that I can address with my product offering, which is now I am doing a not play to earn for fun mobile MOBA game that's 10 minutes long, easier to get into, and designed to play on $100 phones. And I'm going to use this game to target all the nascent emerging markets of the world, India, South Asia, Middle East, Africa, because they can't afford better phones. And no one wants to go there because it's not profitable. But with Web3, we realized that with infinite personalization and verifiably unique content, we can increase our ARPU. And when we do marketing smartly, not by getting people to play to earn, but they earn by providing useful marketing services for us, like ask your friend to join us, be an ambassador for my esports club. I have a natural long-term incentivization that ties in with them. And I realized that I can leverage blockchain, even for a not play to earn game, to lower my customer acquisition cost. So I think we now open up something new. No one else could be profitable in these markets without blockchain, and we think with blockchain, we can revolutionize the gaming industry in these markets.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a very refreshing point. I think as you must know, because you work in Riot, like being a publisher and getting a publishing deal for games is usually very, very expensive. And it's usually not done perfectly. And you have to find a good publisher for each region you want to kind of like launch in. So launching games in, I would say, less developed markets is usually very, very difficult. And I like that, instead of just rewarding users just for playing the game, which is a very bad model, because eventually this is just a marketing gimmick, right? Your tokens will definitely run down eventually, and that's not a very sustainable tokenomics model. But instead, you guys are choosing to reward users who contribute back to the game, right? They're actually providing you some sort of service, or they're actually helping you in some sort of way, and therefore, they should actually be rewarded. I think that's actually a very good model. Thank you for sharing. And Andy, please tell us, YGG, the leader of GameFi, we're all looking up to YGG to say, hey, what's going to happen next? How are you going to get out of this, this slum? Tell us what is the strategy for YGG, and how are you guys planning to evolve or to engage the next generation of Web3 gaming?
Like I said, I'll do my best. I think a lot of what you guys have said really resonates. One of the main things is building up these on-chain guilds and these on-chain communities. I think we've been doing this from day one, and that's really the way to scale. A lot of call it Web 2 was based on sort of these ad networks with like Facebook and Twitter, and I think how it evolves with blockchain is really interesting. Like how this is going to work with user acquisition, or what we call community acquisition, because we're bringing in different guilds, right? to play in these games. And when you bring in groups, it's actually a lot more sticky because there's a little bit of like a reputation stress, because there's other people playing with you. And one of the things that we're doing is questing. And so with questing, it's basically do this, earn that, right? And the idea isn't that, you just come in, you download the game, and that's, call it your cost per install, and that's how you add value to the game. Like, Johnson, you probably see this, the retention drops off, that's not helpful, right? And so what we're doing is awarding things like soulbound tokens, and these are basically reputation markers so that, and in the Web2 world, or like the ad network world, it'd be like cookies, right? But with the deprecation of things like identifier for advertisers, you're going to see that sort of these on-chain markers are going to be more important to not only establish your reputation, but for the game to be able to target, what type of player this is. Yeah.
Very cool. I think that is actually very important because what we see in Web3 is still not as many retail users coming in. We still have to create, there's a barrier, right? And we have to kind of like ease that barrier and give motivation as well as, kind of make the transition easier. I think a lot of Web2 gamers have a very bad impression of NFTs and Web3. They're always assuming it's some sort of like, a pay-to-win kind of model. And to be fair, some of the games are like that. But that's very normal. I think a lot of games, even in the Web2 world, functions in this way, with the gacha system and so on. But I think in Web3, the key to growth is really education. I think that's the purpose and why guilds are so important. It's because you guys act as that middleman between retail users and the Web3 universe, where you're actually teaching and educating a lot of these potential or future Web3 gaming players and help them to understand what this technology is all about. All right, great. Maybe moving on to something a little bit more chill, a bit more fun. I would say, now in terms of the Web3 market, obviously it's doing well. Bitcoin hit 100,000. We're all very happy about that. Gaming-wise, it's still pretty okay, but yet to pick up. So we're all of us here, the four of us today, are still grinding very, very hard to make our visions come true and to make sure that we have a bright future for gaming. Maybe starting from Andy. Now that we are in a slum, a little bit of a slum, what motivates you to keep going every day? Like, it must be difficult. You look at the charts or you're looking at the growth and like, why is DeFi growing so much? Why is meme coins like skyrocketing every day? Like, where's gaming? When's our turn, right? So what kind of like motivates you to keep on going day to day?
Actually, I try not to pay attention at all. It's just too distracting. By the time I find out about the meme coin, it's already too late. But I would say, in terms of motivation, it probably comes down to those two things. It's freedom and ownership. And this is, coming from Web 2, you definitely, as you mentioned, the centralization, the command and control, the fact that your account can just be taken down at any point, or your items can be taken away from you, or censorship, these type of things. It's something that I quite passionate about, and I find that any time in human society when you give freedom or ownership to people, whether it's digital things or physical, we've improved as a society, right? Technological progress and growth, and so I think we're on the cusp of that for Web3, and it's really cool to be in a space where your values align with those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the most fun thing about working in Web3 gaming is that you usually find a lot of synergy between people who are in the industry. Like we all love games and we're all passionate about it, and that makes the conversation much easier, and it's always more fun. And moving on to Johnson, I think for you, building a game, it takes a lot of effort for sure. I think a lot of Web3 people don't understand how difficult it actually is to make a game. People are always thinking, like games, maybe like 2 years or 1 year should be enough, but no, actually creating a good game takes a long time. Could you tell us a little bit more about, your motivation of why you created your game and how has it been going so far?
Yes, it took us 3 years. MOBA is a hard genre, so it took us 3 years. Our game just launched a few days ago in India officially. Doing well so far, so we feel good. But it's really, really difficult for us in the last few years building in the bear market. But with what drives me is one, passion. It's what I love. I love gaming all my life, competitive gaming, and I truly believe in that vision. So that's one. Two, it's about really, let's say, having a vision that you truly believe and people around you believe. And the one I'm going to pick out is Sui, our partner, which literally I told them the time they invested in us, we're completely out of money. We're going to die. They're like, but we love your vision, so we're going to support you all the way. And they've doubled down on us, like 4 rounds of support, grant, investment, more and more. So we've really grown with them. And it's the fact that there are people like them who continues to believe in you that makes you feel that we're probably doing something right. So that's the other thing that keeps me going. And last but not least, just grit. I don't want to fail my own reputation. I don't want to fail the people who believe in me. So I just keep grinding on it.
Right, I think that's a fantastic synergy. Like every game needs a good chain. And I think like in StarCraft 2, I think the Protoss, there's this unit where you can merge them together and then they become like this bigger entity. I kind of like imagine that as what it looks like for a game company and a good chain fusing together to kind of make a grand vision of how you can really accelerate growth, find users, and really kind of like be out there. Because you can't do it alone, right? And I'm glad that Sui is actually there to help you. Please check out his game. Is it playable in our region?
Yes, we have global early access everywhere in the world except China. And we're officially launched in India. Our token is called E4C. We just TG last week. And then our game's called E4C Final Salvation. E, Earth, 4 degree, C, Celsius. So E4C is our token.
Oh, very, very cool. So please, guys, check it out for sure. And I think moving to Chin, I think, now that you have now the CEO of WeGG, just a little bit of backstory. Previously, there was a lady called Irene, and she was also part of the WeGG community and the leadership team together with Chin. She recently became the Vice Minister of Creative Economy for the Indonesian government. Is that correct? Yeah. And now she's actually pushing for even more adoption for Web3 in Indonesia, the 4th largest country with the population in the world. And I think that's very, very exciting. Could you tell us a little bit more of WeGG's motivation, inspiration, and how you intend to capture even more market share in the Southeast Asia region?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it came as a surprise to me as well. But like, I'm super happy for her that she's taken up such an important role in the government. I think for us, we always talk about the community. Andy touches upon a good point, digital ownership. This is what we believe in. You also mentioned, one of the biggest populations in the world. But, Southeast Asia as a region still is primarily unbanked, right? What that means is like they don't have bank accounts. But blockchain, internet allows them to open up a wallet and be able to receive and earn rewards or tokens or whatever and basically help them, empower them. And so at the heart of what we do is still very much empowering these individuals, helping to elevate them, all the while helping to grow the gaming ecosystem in Southeast Asia and helping games come into this space, this market that is complex with various different cultures, languages, customs, different preferences in terms of messaging, etc. So it's a very difficult market to navigate, and we help to cut through that complexity and offer a platform in order for you to acquire, engage, retain your users. And another thing was Johnson has talked about, which is the contribution layer to gaming is like ensuring that people who help you market or refer people, like we're actually doing something to contribute to the survival and sustainability of this gaming ecosystem. This is what we want to do as well. We want to create a symbiotic relationship between the game developer and the game player so that they can contribute. It's a contribution economy at the end of the day. That's how we see it, right? So if you contribute into the sustainability of this gaming ecosystem, you should be rewarded through it, and it reduces your cost of acquisition, right? So everything is that flywheel is what we're really concentrating on. And I think Indonesia now with Irene at the helm in Indonesia government opens up a lot of doors for us. They want to make blockchain in Indonesia like #1, right? They want to make Indonesia, like Dubai, a blockchain capital in Southeast Asia. So there's a lot of initiatives that we're talking to the government about, working with universities, working with different gaming communities, and local partners to really bring up Indonesia. So next year, Indonesia is our main focus market. I will be chatting to Johnson next week about helping him into the market. So yeah, very exciting stuff happening in Southeast Asia. And don't forget, Southeast Asia is also when games, Web3 games make, an entry into the world, Southeast Asia is #1 that they want to look for.
I mean, guys, I'm a little bit biased because I'm also working in the Southeast Asian space, but I'm super, super bullish on VGG. I think, with Irene's involvement with the government's program, and she has a lot of wealth in Web3 knowledge, and with, Chin in the driving seat for VGG, expanding a lot of the games into Southeast Asia, I think it's going to be very exciting. So please look out for all of these guys here. Try their games. Check out VGG's questing platform as well as YGG's, innovative soulbound token strategy. And just interact with all the different games in Web3. It's not supposed to be a tedious thing. It's supposed to be a fun thing. Going to explore the different genres of game. We have games for every single genre, so you don't have to worry that you can't find something you like. Whether it's MOBA or FPS or MMORPGs, you can find them all. Take a chance, try a game, and you might even like it, and you might even be part of the gaming space in the future. But with that, we are running out of time. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening in. And please give a big round of applause for our speakers today, Johnson, Chin, and Andy.
As well as to Malcolm. And thank you once again for moderating this panel. And thank you all speakers for joining us today. Please kindly stand and come together to take a group photo.